Redditors who don't talk to their best friends anymore. What made the relationship not work out? One of my best friends from college. We moved to different cities after graduation. For a while we would visit each other like once a month. See each other back at school. I never even got the chance to miss her because it felt like seeing her again was just around the corner. Then she got a boyfriend. It turned into, "Oh my gosh, I miss you. We have to plan something soon," which would work out at first, then decreased in frequency. Texting funny things slowly disappeared as our shared experiences faded into the background. When she got married, I was in her wedding. It just felt so different. There weren't many people from college at her wedding. The ones who were there, we all just felt like a different phase of her life. At the rehearsal dinner when people would give toasts, I realized that there was so much I didn't know about her life now. And the stories I told no longer seemed relevant to who she was. Communication just naturally trickled down after that, to the point where I'm still on the Christmas card list. But there's a good chance that will be the only communication I have with her. While I miss that old friendship, some relationships are just naturally set up to be great for a moment in time and remembered fondly. Thereafter, she found out that her now husband had a crush on me in high school. I didn't really even know the guy back then. He got drunk one night and told us all, assuming that we could all take it lightly and as a joke. Well, she didn't. She never spoke to me again after that night. He got married. A single Facebook message is all I've managed to get out of him since then. I talked with his sister briefly a few years back and asked what was up with them this year. She paused and said, "I don't want to say anything bad about her, but I can't think of anything good. He always dated crazy girls when we were in school. And he always became a bit of an idiot while he was dating them this year. I kind of hoped he would learn from those experiences and end up with someone better. But it seems like he just kept looking for the same thing he always did." She was cheating on her boyfriend of 7 years with a guy she met on Ashley Madison. When the boyfriend found out, they had a big blow-up, broke up, and he came over to apologize to me about things he had said about me. Apparently over the course of the affair, she had used me as a scapegoat at every opportunity, to the point where the boyfriend hated my guts and thought I was a horrible person. I stopped talking to her. She just suddenly stopped talking to me despite me reaching out several times. I found out through the grapevine that she got married and had a kid at 19, which blew me out of the water. She wasn't that type of person at all. This was my best friend of almost 10 years. And that's not her. I never heard about any of this and also learned that I was the only person in our friend group that got cut out. I've done a lot of self-reflection about this, mostly because I don't want to repeat whatever I did in future relationships. But God darn it, I just cannot figure out what I did to deserve the axe. I was a casual marijuana smoker, and they got into progressively harder and harder drugs. My roommate from college, he was a great guy. Unfortunately, after he got really successful in his career, he started telling everyone that poor people are poor because they are stupid and they should have no rights. Basically, he believes only successful people should be able to vote and have children. Stopped talking to him 2 years ago and met him last year at a friend's wedding. He argued with pretty much everyone the whole time, saying some stupid racist garbage. I couldn't believe how money can change a person. We became roommates. I'm sure I did something to piss him off, but I'm not sure what, because he literally just stopped talking to me one day, like a fluffing 5-year-old. The first day it happened, I honestly thought he was just having a garbage day. But then it turned into weeks and 2 months. And then I moved out and never talked to him again. Cancer. He was the funniest guy the first ever met. Effortlessly funny. We grew up and became adults with different goals and interests in life. I told her I was gay, and she slowly floated away after that. We were neighbors growing up but never attended the same school. We spent every bit of free time together and had a blast playing video games or sports. Each other's families treated us like family. This went on for about 16 years. Once we reached high school, we started to drift apart due to separate friend groups and relationships. As we grew up, we began to have differing values. We got in a big argument one weekend on a topic that, in a big picture, was very, very small. I haven't talked to my childhood best friend since that weekend, though. It has been more than 5 years. There are times where I wish I could go back to relive the memories. We were best friends from age 11 till around 22. Once we left high school, she started partying pretty hard, lots of drinking and drugs, and we struggled to maintain our friendship. The last straw was when my older brother died. I tried calling her over and over and leaving her voicemails to call me back because I wanted to tell her and I wanted her to come to the funeral. She didn't call me back. So finally I texted her that my brother died and sent her the funeral info. Apparently she had been arrested around then, and she told her mom it was my fault for texting her something so upsetting and that it was cruel of me to not speak to her directly. Her mom informed me they felt her DUI was my fault. So, my sibling died, but I should have been more considerate of her feelings, and her choice to drink and drive was my fault. I haven't spoken to her since. It's been almost 13 years since then. Every once in a while she'll pop up on this day on Facebook. We didn't delete each other on FB until a few years after that. I've checked her profile. She seems pretty aimless and unhappy, and frankly, she deserves it. She has the life she built for herself. Asked my friend if he wanted to hang out because I was leaving. Left me on read. Asked another friend if she wanted to hang out because I was leaving. Never read it. Asked yet another friend if she wanted to hang out because I was leaving. Reschedules every time. I don't know what's wrong with me. No one is telling me what it is. So I'm cutting contact with everyone so they don't have to deal with me anymore. I think I am in the process of losing a best friend right now. Or maybe I've been for a while, but only now I am realizing that I may have been a toxic friend for him, unintentionally keeping his self-esteem down and not treating him like an equal. I am afraid he is better off without me and don't know what to do because I miss him, but he doesn't seem to be interested in getting in touch with me. But I also realize I probably don't deserve a second chance. Had a very good childhood friend. Extremely talented but incredibly vain and egocentric. Ever since I got married, she was my witness, and had a child. She stopped talking to me and got very awkward. I tried several times to rekindle the friendship, but I met with silence. I don't know why it all went pear-shaped, but I decided to stop trying. My best friend of many years have decided to stop talking to me after I became heavily depressed. Following my mother's death, she said that I wasn't fun to hang out with anymore, and she, along with some of our mutual friends, held an intervention for me and demanded that I cure myself because I make them feel bad with my sadness. They told me they would love to see me again after I got fixed, but they don't want me there in my current state. I was extremely hurt, so I told them I'm not some broken fridge to be fixed and to fluff off, and I haven't really spoken to them since. Eventually I got back in touch with some of them, but our relationship will never be like how it was before. To be fair, I have to admit that my mother's death has changed me drastically. I became more reserved, and I wasn't interested in the things I used to love. Since our friendship was mostly based on drinking and partying together to forget how garbage our lives are, me not doing that anymore have shifted our dynamic way too much. We became friends because we were all black sheeps in our community and we all had garbage we wanted to numb ourselves about. They only liked the crazy, reckless part of me that would have done anything to feel something, and when I couldn't keep that up anymore, they didn't want me at all. I had no other close friends at the time, so the first few weeks I felt more alone than I've ever had in my entire life. It was like I've had my heart broken by someone. I felt like I've been betrayed, and even though I wanted to crawl back to them, I was too proud to do so. Turns out it was the right decision. Because now, 3 years later, I'm surrounded by people who really care about me, and I finally feel safe. For months I was so mad at them for not being there and for how they've decided to handle our issues, but with time I've realized that I cannot ask others to save me from myself, and that the pressure I put on them about this was probably way too much for them. Monsieur, I know that we didn't want the same things from each other, and that we are probably better off as strangers, especially considering how different paths we chose in life. My only regret is not trying to reach out to my former best friend, because she got stuck in that crowd, and I know she is just as miserable there as I was back then. But she is afraid to leave and be alone.